So let's get our ducks in a row. South Africa, through some representatives, signed an agreement related to BRICS. It's called BRICS Women Business Alliance. Okay, they signed a deal in May, supplying 5,600 workers. They signed a deal to supply 5,600. The BRICS Students Commission in South Africa and the BRICS Women's Business Alliance have promoted these jobs, leveraging South Africa's BRICS membership to attract unemployed youth, where 33% of the workforce. So this is an opportunity. So South Africa has a lot of unemployed people, okay? A lot of unemployed youth. Russia is looking for people to work. Well, under the BRICS organization, I supply you 5,600 people. Then you get jobs and you get the workforce that you're looking for. So Alabuga Start program is this program that targets young women. They don't want men. They just want young women between 18 to 22. South Africa, Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, South Sudan, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and other global South countries using social media like Instagram and TikTok. Now, they are hiring influencers to speak about this opportunity in Russia. Go and work in Russia, make some money, go and work in Russia and grow your opportunities in finance. Go and work in Russia and get opportunities to go to school as well and stuff like that. Now, they're promoting jobs. They pay between $500 and $700 per month. And that's lots of money for many Africans. Trust me, that's a lot of money for many people. Besides that, they're offering wages, flights, accommodations, hotel, all that for free. I mean, $700, free flight, accommodation for free, perhaps food for free and stuff like that. That's a good opportunity. I can go work for 3 months, 6 months, save money and start something interesting. The catch is that the ads often omit the military nature of the work, framing it as work-study program or career opportunity. So they're talking about work-study, career opportunity. They're not talking about military side of things. I mean, assembling drones is one thing to go bomb other people. I mean, it takes a mental level of agreement. You know, people need to choose. I'm actually going to make bombs to bomb other people. And again, it's a big issue because South Africa is supposed to be neutral in this war between Ukraine and Russia. Now, when South Africa sends people, that these people end up putting guns and weapons together to go destroy another country, that takes away the neutrality of South Africa. So, as you would expect, many women, including South Africans, discover upon arrival in Tartaisen that the assembling of Shahid 136 drone used in daily Russian attack on Ukraine. It's only when they arrived that they were told, okay, you actually need to assemble drones. But they went for other opportunities. They also report long hours of work, constant surveillance, and exposure to caustic chemical causing skin damage, and lower than promised wages after deduction for accommodation and language classes. So they get less money after deduction for accommodation and language classes. Then we're not told about that earlier. It's only later, oh, sorry, oh, your money, oh, sorry, we deducted the accommodation and the language class. But when they gave them the scheme, they said accommodation is taken care of. Oh, you're going to learn the language, no problem. So deceptive, isn't it? Now, some people have described the program as a trap with non-disclosure agreement and restriction on leaving. So some people regret. Why did they go there? Well, we have working conditions that are very, very difficult here. You work more than 12-hour shifts. You know, you have facial recognition program. You have to ding before you get inside. You are guarded by military and soldiers. Number two, security risk. I mean, some of these planes in the past, in 2024, was hit by a drone from Ukraine. I mean, this place you assemble drones, Shahid, to bomb Ukraine, was bombed by Ukraine. And 12 workers were injured in 2024. Now you're sending people from Africa, some kids that used to eat bread and cheese, to go work in drones in a situation where they're going to be target number one. That's crazy stuff. Now, you need to understand the context of the signatory. What happened? Well, a person named Lebohang Zulu, chairperson of the BRICS WBA South Africa chapter and CEO of AV Group, signed an agreement during a trip to Russia in May 2024, accompanied by an unidentified South African parliamentarian. So Lebohang Zulu went to Russia with some unidentified South African parliamentarian. The deal was promoted as a job creation initiative, leveraging South Africa's BRICS membership to address unemployment. So they went to Russia to have a discussion. How do we find a solution to our unemployment situation using the BRICS card. Well, South Africa is part of BRICS, so is Russia. So let's find a way. Maybe we can get jobs for our people. Then the agreement commits to supply 5,600 workers, primarily women aged 18 to 22, to Alabuga in Russia. Okay, that was the goal. Now the job we advertise as being in construction, hospitality through the BRICS Student Commission. 18 to 22 years old. These are kids. Why only girls 18 to 22? Well, some people will think because they will pose the least resistance. They're young, they're females, so they're probably weak. They won't pose much resistance. Now, is Russia doing this on purpose? Question mark. Does the president of Russia know this? I don't know. What is South Africa's response? Well, South Africa has launched an investigation on August 22. DIRCO announced an investigation into Russia recruitment practice, focusing on whether they involve fraud or human trafficking. They are focusing on whether these recruitment involved fraud or human trafficking, nothing else. So what could happen? South African official could summon Russian diplomat for clarification. So it looks to me like we don't know if Mr. Putin is aware of this, okay? I don't think in the position he is right now, he would want to mess up with South Africa. He wants as much friend as possible. So I don't think he would want to create a situation where South Africans would be angry at him. I don't think so. Maybe there are some people below him. I'm not defending, I'm just giving my opinion. Maybe some people below him, decided to create the scheme. Number 3, having a job in Russia is not a problem at all, okay? Whatever job it is, even making weapons is not a problem. The problem is when you're not informed of the job you're going to do. You should know what you're signing up to, what you're signing up for, what you're going for. You need to know, I understand. And I think most of the disappointment is the fact, not necessarily because they're going to be surveilled or the money is not what they were promised. I think it's more the deception of saying, I actually thought I came here for hospitality and I'm finding myself putting together drones and stuff. Madagascar, fellas, it's this beautiful country here. Madagascar is a lovely place, but it's unfortunate. Usually when you see the map of Africa, you don't see Madagascar, right? You see only this block here. They don't show you Madagascar. I don't know why they do that. That's very unfair. It's like I'm showing you all my kids, but one of them I'm not going to show you because it's bigger than everybody else. It's crazy. Not to say Madagascar is bigger than everybody, but I can just imagine why. How people from Madagascar and Sao Tome and Principe. Look at this. This is Sao Tome and Principe, okay? And Madagascar. These two, you will never see them on the screen. Sometimes you don't see them on the map. I don't think it's fair. It's not nice. Anyway, France has returned looted human remain to Madagascar. Crazy stuff. Looted human remain. You talk about crazy people. These people are crazy. How do you take human remain to your country? Why? What's the goal? France has returned looted human remain to former colony. The skull handed back to Madagascar include one believed to be that of a king decapitated by French troops in 1897. Imagine. So the French, when they left France looking for other land, I don't know why they want to look for other land. These people, they talk about people being ruthless and brutal, and these people were ruthless and brutal and unhuman. They just went to other nations and started unaliving people for no reason and taking their land and it's crazy stuff. This is crazy stuff. The skull is believed to be that of a Malagasy king named Toera in August 1897. Imagine you're a king, bunch of white people come to your land, they unalive you and they take your skull to France. Imagine, since 1897, up until now, they've kept the skull of a king of Africa in France in the name of culture. At the request of Madagascar, we are returning 3 Salakava skulls, including the one presumed to be that of a King Toera. This was the French minister Rachida Dati said.
This restitution of the 3 Sokolova skulls, including the one presumed to belong to King Toera, from the collections of the National Museum of Natural History, marks a historic event between France and Madagascar.
What did you think? All this time along, you've never thought about returning somebody's skull to his country? What are you doing with it? Are you fantasizing about this? It's crazy. It's insane. It's insane because I don't know what to say. Emmanuel Macron, president of France, reportedly spoke of seeking forgiveness for France's bloody and tragic colonization of African countries. So Emmanuel Macron said, I'm looking for forgiveness for our bloody and tragic colonization. Yes, France colonization was brutal and ruthless. They destroyed many lives. They finished people bad in many countries. They went to Algeria. They took women by force, in the name of war. Unalived the ones that refused. They unalived a lot of Algerians, took their land by force. They even did a testing of atomic bomb. Imagine you're going to do a testing of atomic bomb in somebody else's country. See how effective it is. How nice is that? They're just a bunch of savages. Just a bunch of savages. They don't deserve anything. And matter of fact is, Algeria asked France to provide all the sites where they did atomic bomb testing. And France refused to provide. Do you understand why that is important? Because the country need to understand where you did atomic bomb testing so that people cannot go over there. Now, they did many atomic bomb testing, but they never provided the list and the site of where the tests were conducted. And now many people in Algeria, you can see the map, many people are getting funny, weird sickness and diseases because atomic bombs don't play. This is the atomic bomb they threw in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. Up until today, Japanese people still give birth to children with one hand of 7 legs, because of the effect of the atomic bomb. That's what the legacy of France is in Africa. But today when you speak about it, they say you have anti-French rhetoric. Is that an anti-French rhetoric, or are we just talking about history? Now the French president say, we're trying to find forgiveness for all the bad things we've done. A French National Museum of Natural History reportedly holds 23,000 human remains in collection. You're looking for forgiveness, but you have 23,000 human remains. For what? What is this? I don't understand. What is this fantasy about keeping people? I don't understand. Sarah Batman from South Africa, the lady with the nice forms, they took a body to Europe. They kept her body in Europe because she had a nice ass. All these people were fantasizing over a dead body's ass. Imagine. For hundreds of years until Mandela started doing work to get the body of this South African lady woman back to South Africa. That's how the Europeans. It's crazy. What is the fantasy around? I don't understand. Do you know that in Germany up until now you have skulls of people from Herero, the Herero people of Namibia? Because that's the first genocide that's recorded. They massacred people, murdered black African tribes, took their skulls and the body. Up until now, a lot of them in museums in Germany. Now, my question is this. You know the country you don't name? Do you know the country you don't name? Do you think you could go to the country you don't name? What they did to the people from the country you don't name, could they keep their skulls could they keep their skulls and body remains into museums? Would they do that? They would never do that. Why? Because they're considered better than you. You are seen as a bunch of animals. You're showing a biology, a museum of animals. It's crazy stuff. Now Perry wants forgiveness. He wants to be in the good books of the black people. And Macron has made a lot of mistakes. He insulted Africans the last time by saying that Africans should be grateful for the colonization.
We had a secure relationship. In truth, it was of two kinds. One part was our commitment to fighting terrorism since 2013. We were right. I think some have forgotten to say thank you, but that's okay. It'll come in time. I'm in a good position to know that ingratitude is a disease that cannot be transmitted to humans. But I say this for all the African governments who have not had the courage, in the eyes of their public opinion, to bear it. None of them would be in a sovereign country today if the French army had not been deployed in this region.
And many African presidents did not stay quiet over this. They say maybe if Africans were not there, France would still be a colony of Germany, because African people fought for France to free it against the Germans. And what did you do to those Africans? They were called the tirailleurs sénégalais. They were taken from Africa to go fight for France in France during World War II. Yes, because France colonized all these countries here. So they felt they had the right to take all these people to go fight their war for them. You know what they did to them? After they promised them land, promised them passport and citizenship and insurances and stuff. After they fought and liberated Paris, first of all, this general here, General de Gaulle, said you must clean up because we're walking into Paris. All the Parisian people will see people walking, soldiers. The soldiers have to be white. So he whitenized the regiments. All the people walking into Paris were white. But it wasn't the white French that liberated Paris. It was the black people of Africa. He kicked out all the black people so that the French people can see it's the French, because it would have given black people too much of something. After doing that, those black people were not paid the money they deserved. Some of them were taken to a place they got shot. Imagine, you fought for the French, expecting to be paid at least and get a citizenship, then they go and shoot you. Then Macron would say African people should be grateful. But gratefulness is something of human beings. Only human beings are grateful. So he's saying Africans are not human beings. And he says Africa make too many babies.
Adults today are women. That's the deep roots of the gender inequalities. One of the critical issues we have regarding the African demography is the fact that this is not a chosen fertility. I always say, please present me the lady who decided, being perfectly educated, to have 7, 8, 9 children. And this is not teaching African people from New York. This is a pure bullshit to say that. A lot of African leaders today now dare to have this kind of speech. This is just because a lot of girls were not properly educated. That's why for me education is the main answer. First, to avoid the worst. Second, to maximize opportunities in African countries and in the rest of the world. Third, to properly monitor demography.
Me, I'm not stopping until I have 11, my man. 11. 11. The United States of America want to renew trade and ties with the Sahel region. This is absolutely shocker. Shocker, my friend. Ibrahim Traoré and other countries, the US is looking into them. And when America comes, you either like the deal or it's big trouble. What's going to happen? The US wants to come back into the Sahel, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. So all the progresses must now be redirected with the supervision of the United States of America, or else we better find out about this. This is very hot, brother. But before we start this, we need to talk about something very, very interesting happening in Niger. Well, Niger has threatened the European Union. Niger said, if you don't treat me appropriately, you're not going to get the appropriate treatment from me at all. The time where the African people used to beg and bend over, it's over. This is crazy stuff, fellas. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping. You appreciate it. My name is Zack. Your first time, you are welcome. This is home for all of us. You want to know about the motherland? This is where you want to be. Okay, any country, we're going to talk about it. Here we don't sugarcoat. We say things blatantly sometimes. Sometimes it looks like bashing, but it's okay. It's all for the good, for the progress. Thank you. Before you get going, can I ask you all to do this? Do this, please. Cost you nothing, but we feel appreciated. All right. Your first time, please subscribe so we can see each other every single day. Great stuff. We are going to Niger. According to an internal memo from Niger Diplomatic Service, citizens of several European countries who wish to travel to Niger must now apply their visa to specific embassies, not any Niger embassy. Every country has Niger's embassy, but Niger now will specify which embassy you can go to. Maybe if you want to go to Niger, the Niger embassy, even though it is in your country, you're going to have to go to the next country and find the Niger embassy to apply for a visa to go to Niger. Let's continue. People must now submit their visa application to Moscow, Ankara, and Geneva. Well, this is crazy. If I live in Belgium and there's a Niger embassy in Belgium, why do I need to go to Moscow, Ankara, or Geneva only to apply for the visa? Question mark. This measure is considered reciprocal to the treatment that these countries apply to Nigerian visa application. So Niger has restricted the issuance of entry visa by its embassies on several European countries. Fellas, in life you need to make yourself respected. You need to make yourself respected. If you don't make yourself respected, people will walk all over you. That's what it is. And this has been valid since the dawn of time. If you're a man and you don't respect yourself, your woman will disrespect you. And let alone if she's not even your woman yet, and you're all the way begging and running after her and supplying all the goods and stuff, they're not going to respect you. If you call somebody on the phone and they respond to you 2 days later, maybe you need to do the same. If you send a text to someone and they they take 6 hours to respond. Well, maybe you need to take 6 hours too. How about that? Yeah, sometimes you got to do. I know it sounds pitiful, but sometimes you got to do that to train people to respect you. When you needed them and you send an emergency message and they don't respond to you within 3 hours, everybody has time. Sorry, everybody has their cell phone. People have time. They just don't have time for you. When they send you a message back asking a question, maybe you need to take some time too to show them what it is about. Well, this is happening because the Nigerian government has noticed the way the people from Niger are being treated in some embassies. So they are being redirected to specific embassies. Now, in Niger, when people want to get visas to go to Europe, normally they will go to the French embassy, okay? Because France was the country that was assigned the role of processing Nigerian European visa application. Why? Because France colonized Niger. Now, people from Niger will go to France and apply for the visa. Now, what has occurred now, people from Niger cannot apply for visa in French embassy in Niger anymore. Why? Because the relationship between Niger and France is broken. Now they are obliged to go to the following country, neighboring country, other countries to go apply for visa to go to Europe. Now Niger said, why should we go through all that? While in the meantime, you fellas, you people are coming to our country with no problem. I mean, why should a Nigerian person go to the following country looking for a visa to go to Germany, whilst a German person will just go to the Nigerian embassy in Germany and apply for a visa, go to Niger? It's not fair. There gotta be some reciprocity. So Nigerian Foreign Minister Bakari Yahoo Sangare wrote in an internal memo dated on August 20 that Nigerian citizens have faced difficulties in obtaining entry visas to Europe since the military coup in Niamey. The minister stated that citizens of the West African country have been forced to travel to neighboring country for visa procedures. Okay, that is unacceptable. Now, he also sent a letter to this embassy, to these European embassies in Niger, to Niamey, to say, listen, you need to fix this very quickly because this is unacceptable. Guess what he got as a response? Absolutely nothing. They ignored him. I mean, this is very, very common. This is what Europeans do in most cases. You call them, they ignore you. Remember when this group of people came into power in Niger, they called the France ambassador to have a discussion with him. They said, we are in power now. The previous president, Mohamed Bazoum, is no more. We are the power now. Please, you as French ambassador, come meet with us so we can have a talk. The French ambassador snubbed them. He didn't even look at them. He didn't even respond to them. That is when the problem started between Niger and France. Niger didn't want to keep France away right away. They wanted to kick France away when they called the ambassador and he refused to show himself in somebody else's country. Then France responded saying, we do not acknowledge you. We acknowledge the previous president, you know, but I mean, this is my house. I just kicked out the president of my house. Now I'm the president in this house where you are a guest. And I am calling you to have a discussion and you saying, no, I don't recognize you. Well, you better get out, take your stuff and move. Now, that is when the relationship went sour. Now, Niger say, if you from any other country in Europe want to come to Niger, you need to go to a specific country. You're going to go to Moscow, you're going to go to Ankara, you're going to go to Switzerland. These are the only places you can go get a visa. Or else, you have a problem. Why? Because every time a European country has an issue with a non-European country, all European countries side with the European country. Now, in this context, because France has got beef with Niger, all European countries have sided with France. Therefore, forcing Nigerian in Niger that wants to travel to Europe to go to a foreign country to go and apply for visa. Niger say this is not happening. You two are going to go through the same process. Congratulations or what? I mean, at least for valuing themselves and respecting themselves. We gotta say congratulations. Right? Piga ma coffee. Piga ma coffee. Allez, piga ma coffee. Yeah, there you go. Fellas, the United States of America wants to renew trade with the Sahel region. Crazy stuff. I mean, most of you thought that Donald Trump didn't give a continental about these people. You thought Trump really didn't care. You know, Trump doesn't care about all that. Well, they're here. They're here. Since Trump's arrival in the White House, the United States has radically changed its approach to the Sahel region. The focus has shifted, brother, from development aid to commerce. They don't want to do development aid. They want to do business only. Now, Washington is betting on access on what? Minerals of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger in exchange for security support and terrorism. So, the United States of America used to provide help, US aid, to most African countries, including Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. This comes in many forms: food, investment into schools, and many other things. Now, before Trump came with Biden and stuff, they cut the relationship. Now, Trump is back. Trump doesn't want to reinstate this US aid at all, but he wants business with the Sahel region. The US wants to re-engage in the Sahel after suspending US aid, development aid, and military cooperation because they had military cooperation, but it's broken. They don't work together anymore. Remember, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso are now very friendly with Russia. Well, the objective is very clear. They want to secure mineral access into these countries. Well, let me just remind you here that Niger has a lot of uranium, Burkina Faso has lithium, Mali has gold. So there's a lot of riches and rare earth to exploit in that region. The United States of America needs all of that stuff for their army, for technology, for geopolitical positioning. It's very important. So number one, they want access to the goods. Do they want exclusive access? They say no. They don't want exclusive access yet. It's okay. This is what the American representatives say. No, it's okay. We can live with the Russians. Now, you know, when you go to a place where your enemy is already there, you don't come and try to force them out. Let me put it this way for you. People who try to be with a woman who's got a boyfriend, this is what they do. Okay, I remember we were taught this when we were kids. Number one, you don't ask a woman if she has a boyfriend. If she really lacks a boyfriend, she'll tell you I have a boyfriend. If she doesn't say I have a boyfriend, she maybe doesn't have a boyfriend. Or maybe the boyfriend thinks he's the boyfriend. Or maybe, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. If she really, really likes him, she'll tell you I have a boyfriend. Number two, if she tells you I have a boyfriend, you must tell her, I'm not trying to get you off your boyfriend. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a friendship with you. You know, I'm just trying to get to know you. Your boyfriend is not my issue. Now, in some cases, when you meet low-life women, they will shift, you know, from the boyfriend idea to other things. They're not very loyal. Unfortunately, you find a lot of people that are not loyal. Now, in this case, the United States of America look at Russia as the boyfriend of these countries. And he doesn't want to say, kick your boyfriend away. Because, I mean, my boyfriend has been faithful to me for the past 2 years and a half. He supported me against the Europeans and stuff. Why must I kick him away? Even though I know America is more flashy, you know, it looks more interesting, but why should I kick him away? The boyfriend has shown some loyalty. I don't know about you, but the best way to enter is what? Just allow us to be together, you know, and then very slowly things are going to go south. Number two, the objective of the US is the United States is increasingly concerned about the growing influence of Russia and China in Sahel. Obviously, these countries have strengthened their ties with military governments and particularly by offering security agreement and investing in mineral resources. I mean, Russia has invested tremendously in arming these countries, providing drones and military. China has invested drastically in many areas. So the US wants to position itself. As you see, fellas, it's all about control. You need to control these African countries. You need to have geopolitical position. Niger kicked out Americans, remember that? They asked them to leave the country. And one American said, let's go and bomb them. I mean, listen to this guy speaking.
The government in Niger is using the well-being and health of our service members as leverage to get what they want out of our government. Our troops aren't getting medicine for malaria, for cholesterol, for their blood pressure, chronic conditions. And I've received the letters from the wives, from the fathers of the people who are in Niger now, and they say, we know that our family members are being extorted by the local governments when they try to leave, hundreds of dollars to even bring a bag through the airport. We know that Russians are behind the wire. You know what a real U.S. president would do? Say that C-130s are on their way to Niger today with the water and the medicine and the food our troops need, that they will have a full fighter pilot escort there. And if the Nigerian government or any other third world thug tries to even turn on their air defense systems, we should show those leaders and those thugs what the target package looks like on their houses and their family members, because it should not be Americans that are suffering because President Biden and Blinken are so embarrassed that their strategy in Africa failed that they're willing to let Americans' conditions deteriorate. They're willing to let our military spouses and family members wonder what's going to happen to their loved ones with their blood pressure rising and no blood pressure medication, or concerned what will happen now that we're in May and there's not sufficient malaria medication. We should always keep our people's well-being at the forefront of our minds. And today we should be resupplying our troops in Niger, Africa, and we should dare these thugs and criminals to mess with us while we're doing that. This is a total embarrassment.
He says, why did we allow our people to leave Niger? We shouldn't have left in the first place when they asked us to leave. This is a free country saying, leave our country. Now, this senator saying we shouldn't have left because we are the United States of America. We should have gone, take some B-12, whatever, and bomb them. You know what I'm saying? Now, America sees, perhaps we shouldn't go that way. Let's go friendly. Let's go with niceness. Let's see how it goes. Fellas, Burkina Faso has suspended Uncle Gates' project into turning mosquitoes into zombies. Yes, Uncle Gates. You know Uncle Gates. Uncle Gates decided to come to Africa and help a bunch of Africans because Africans are suffering too much. So because Uncle Gates is such a nice person, he says he's going to go to Africa and make sure Africans are fine. Okay, now today we're talking about Burkina Faso. Here's a map. Beautiful place, lovely people. Let me check my microphone. Sometimes you be talking here, it's not even recording. Crazy stuff. Now, in Burkina Faso, something crazy is happening right now. The government has suspended Uncle Gates' project. I know you know something about Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traoré, this man right here, you've seen him before? Good guy, right? Yes, that's the kind of president that Africa needs right now. Do you agree? Well, Burkina Faso has cancelled Uncle Gates' project about mosquitoes. Now, what is this project about? Burkina Faso suspended a project funded by Uncle Gates Foundation aimed at curbing the spread of malaria in Africa, amid concern that it could be misused to the advantage of population control in a continent. Yes, brother. You know, this man here, Ibrahim Traoré, he doesn't play. Since he's in power, is looking after his people. I know a lot of African presidents are very incompetent. Some of them have some brains before they become president. As soon as they become president, the brain switches off. They get 6, 7 wives and 35 houses, 105 cars. I don't know how you drive 105 cars. Crazy stuff. Not this guy. Since he's in power, he's been building roads, building hospitals, building shelter, homes for orphans. You know, he's been providing jobs for ladies that lost their husbands in war because his country is at war. And Burkina Faso has been doing tremendously great in that. Now, they've suspended Uncle Gates' project. What was the project about? Uncle Gates, in his nice heart, felt like a lot of Africans were being unalived by malaria. You heard of malaria, right? Malaria is bad. Malaria is bad. Malaria is a disease, tropical disease in most cases, that is transmitted through mosquitoes. It takes you out very quickly. Some people, 3 days, you're gone. You know, for the stronger one, maybe 5, 7 days. Malaria is bad, trust me. Especially if you were born in America, brother, you may have a skin just like mine, but yeah, your immune system is not yet. So some of us have had a lot of malaria, many times. Like I've had maybe 67 times malaria. I'm still here. Why? Because my immune system is adjusted to it. I've had so many times because I wasn't unalive. Your immune system being the wonderful thing that it is, it's, adjusts, it learns, it's learn how to fight back. So I could get malaria today and just chill out, eat nice or whatever. I can fast, actually, sit by the sun for about 12 hours and I'll be okay. And not everybody can do that, but I can do that. I trust many people from Southern Africa may not be able to do that. So you're looking at the people from tropical areas are mostly capable of doing it. Anyway, so now I get back on track. Now, malaria has taken millions of people's lives. Last year only it took about 569,000 lives in Africa. Now, Uncle Gates feels that Africans need help. By that, he financed some projects in Africa, in several countries, to do research on how to end malaria. Now, what is the research about? Before I tell you what the research is about, you need to first find out how do mosquitoes transmit malaria. Well, mosquitoes, it's not all mosquitoes that transmit malaria. Okay, it's a specific group of mosquitoes. And amongst them, it's only the females that transmit malaria. We're not going to get into the scientific side of it, but we're going to make it very simple. The male and the female, they need male and female to do kloof so they can make babies. Anyway, but the male does not transmit malaria, only the female. How does the female transmit malaria? The female, naturally, she's not a blood drinker, not every day, okay? Day of the week, she's probably going to go into plantation, drink some juice, drink some flower things, some whatever, you know what I'm saying. But when she's pregnant, that is when she wants blood. Yes, that's when she wants blood. She wants blood for nutrient for her eggs to develop. I don't know who came up with that concept. Like who programmed that thing? It was a God that programmed that thing? I don't know. So when the female needs to nurture the babies in her stomach, she needs blood. So she's going to go find a host and drink blood from the host. In most cases, the female already has a parasite inside her. So by the time she poses herself on a human being's skin and she injects, because she does have a needle, she injects a needle into your bloodstream so she can suck into your bloodstream. In her saliva, there are parasites. And this parasite will go into your bloodstream while she's trying to suck the blood out. Now, these parasites are very dangerous. Now, for the mosquitoes, they don't do much. But for you, the human being, within a couple of days, they're going to go into your liver, cause damage and your blood and start destroying your cells. It's crazy. It's mayhem happening in your body. It's bad. You get shivers, colds during the day. You go sit in the sun, you start throwing up. Malaria is bad, brother. If you've seen it, it takes you out fast, very fast. What is the solution? Uncle Gate's solution is to create genetically modified mosquitoes. So what we're looking at male mosquitoes. So basically playing with their pee-pee, so that the pee-pee do not function properly. If his pee-pee is bent to the side, you can't put it in. No. Forget about putting it in. The basic idea is to create the male mosquito that's sterile. Okay, so that even if they do kloof, bam, bam, kloof with the female won't get pregnant. And if the female doesn't get pregnant, after some cycles, you can get them to be extinct. You know what I'm saying? Just get the males to be sterile. So when they do kloof, there's nothing coming out of the pee-pee. So forget about the pee-pee. So that's the idea of Uncle Gate. However, many people believe you can't just trust Uncle Gate. Uncle Gate has invested $75 million in Burkina Faso, Ghana, Uganda, including funding for research, trial fields, regulatory engagement, and community outreach. So basically, he sends money, even sometimes pay people money so that they can test the genetically modified mosquito on how it reacts to you. So it has to bite you. That's how you know, right? When you do experiments, you must be bitten by mosquitoes to see if it's working or not. So that's what Uncle Gate is doing for us, his nephews. Well, in the past, these people in Burkina Faso have had approval. They started since 2012. That's when they got the first approval. And that was way before Ibrahim Traoré. So with previous president, they got the approval of the government to do these experiments and create genetically modified mosquitoes in the country in order to help the people of the country.
Ms. Gates is here to say that she is committed to working with us to achieve the goals set out in the National Economic and Social Development Plan, specifically in accelerating the demographic transition and improving nutrition for mothers and children. We are grateful to Ms. Gates for this invaluable contribution, which I hope will continue to grow.
Uncle Gates is so nice. He thinks about you all the time. He wants you to be good. Don't be unalive of malaria. He doesn't want you to be sick. He wants you to be fine. And the government of today has said, no, that was your contract back in time, in 2013. We don't want that no more. Fellas, Uncle Gates Foundation has been into many controversies, okay? Coming from genetically modified seeds. I don't know if you heard of that. Let me just briefly tell you about genetically modified seeds. In most cases, they believe it's better than normal seeds. We're talking about seeds for your crop, okay? Maize, avocado, bananas, whatever. I'm just giving you a stupid example. So Uncle Gates loves Africans so much. He wants Africa not to die of hunger. Therefore, he and his friend have developed genetically modified seeds. Why? Because apparently Uncle Gate believe the African natural seeds are not strong enough to resist bad weather. What weather? We're talking here about rain, flood, heat. So your natural seed sent by God, the Creator, is not good enough for you, because when it rains very heavily, your crop is destroyed. Therefore, Uncle Gate and his friends have developed special crops, genetically modified. These crops will resist winter, summer, springs, wind, fire. Not fire, but yeah, you get the concept. That's Uncle Gate's idea. However, what problems do you get with this seed? Some of the problems is these seeds, when you get them, you plant them. Let's say you usually plant avocado, okay? You're an avocado farmer. And what happens with avocado is very simple. You put your seeds on the ground, it grows, okay? Then once you get the fruit, what do? You take the nut again, which is the seed you put on the ground, and it grows. Now, with Uncle Gates products, you can't do that. If your avocado grows one time, the seed of your avocado are sterile. They don't produce. So you can't continue doing what you've always been doing for years. After you've harvested, what you need to do then is to go to Uncle Gates' company. If not Uncle Gates' company, you go to Uncle Gates' friend's company to buy other nuts and seed. That is valid for maize, potatoes, and anything, you name it. So basically, the way God created it, even though they are fragile to rain, smoke, and wind and fire, once you get your product, which is your final product, your crop, you can take the seed and replant the seed and it's going to grow. Well, Uncle Gates said that is not productive. Let's give you something stronger, something better. Sometimes you can get your raisins are red. Your orange are oranger. The bananas are very yellow. They look nice in the eyes. That is genetically modified. But the problem is, once you sow it one time, it grows. You can't re-sow it. You need to go rebuy. This is basically a license. You subscribe to a license. So you're giving away your ability to continuously do your things from a subscription. Because every month you have to go back to Uncle Gates and friends to buy the seeds and sow. Now, in some African countries, it's law. If you take your seed and give to the neighbor, you're going to prison. If you don't go to jail, they're going to make you pay up to $20,000 for giving your seed to your cousin or your neighbor. Well, Africans used to do that many, many times, many years ago. They will sow stuff in the land. Africans quite loved each other. Okay, at least many years ago, we loved each other with Ubuntu. We were very friendly with one another. Today, it's very different. The South Africans have destroyed it with xenophobia. I'm just kidding. Africans used to help each other. So what they will do is, it's just a joke, brother. Don't get upset. What they will do is, once you sow your stuff, when you get the results, you can pass the seeds to your neighbor and they can sow again because you don't need to sell it. Now, they want to capitalize on anything, everything. Therefore, they're going to give you better seeds that will resist to the rain, resist to the wind and the sun. However, that seed is usable one time. Once you're done doing it, you must go back to buy from them. Now, the problem is, if you buy their seed, you can't go back to the older seed. Why? Because it transforms the ground. And seeds do polarize, okay? Pollination. What happens is what? Your seeds, okay, even though you have seeds that is natural, okay, your seeds are natural, your crop is natural. If the neighbor wants to buy from Uncle Gate and his stuff is genetically modified, the pollen coming from his crop to your crop switches yours become a zombie as well. That's the reality. Now, Burkina Faso say, no, you've done too many things. We've seen too many stuff in the past. We don't want Uncle Gates here with all the love. We know you say that there's too many people eating meat as well because Uncle Gates invested a lot of money into a company that produces meat from cells. You heard about that? They take cells. I don't know if it's human cells or what, or cow cells. They would put it in a laboratory and it could become a meat. It's not meat taken from a cow. It's a meat created in the lab. That's Uncle Gates. He believes that you eat too much meat and it's making the world too warm. He doesn't think about the data centers that they have all across the world, making the world warmer, but he thinks you eating meat makes the world warmer. So Uncle Gates believes you should be eating insects instead of meat. If you really, really want meat, then they can develop meat in a lab for you to eat. So Uncle Gates has many, many situations. Uncle Gates sponsored the idea of you getting, remember he said, if people don't, the world will never open again, until everybody's, then the world is open. Do you think everybody got, no, they didn't. You know what happened? How come the world is open? You know what the world is open? You know what happened? The war in Ukraine started. That's what destroyed that. Anyway, now Burkina Faso say, we don't want this. Now, we had to ask a few questions because we're not the scientific. What are the risks of this project from Uncle Gates? Maybe Uncle Gates really means good. So we asked ChatGPT, what is the risk? Unintended ecological consequences. Mosquitoes are part of a complex food web. Suppressing or altering their population could affect predators like bats, birds, and competitors. So people believe that everything that you see on Earth is here for a reason. I mean, you see bees. People go like, why are bees here? Why do bees exist? You need to do research. Bees are very important for life. You need bees to have your food. You need bees to be breathing. I'm not going to give explanation. Go get research about that. Well, why are mosquitoes here? We don't know. I can't tell you. But ChatGPT believes mosquitoes are here for a very good reason. So if you change the mosquito, you could be destroying a lot of things. ChatGPT also believes the mosquitoes could develop resistance. Okay, so resistance to the treatment. Mosquitoes or malaria parasites might evolve resistance to the genetic modification, undermining long-term efficacy. So meaning even the cures that you have against malaria right now will not be strong enough because the mosquitoes will develop another gene to protect themselves. Let me know how you feel about this. Do you think Ibrahim Traoré is moving to the right side? I mean, many presidents in Africa, you just give them money, they shut the up. Yes, many African presidents, it's just about money. How much money are you bringing? I mean, Kenyans accepted genetically modified stuff. Kenyan is God. I mean, look at this guy in Kenya. He's I think an MP or a senator saying that, yeah, we need to eat genetically modified food because white people eat it anyway.
We have so many things that can kill us in this country. Being in this country, you are a candidate for death. And because there's so many things competing for death, there's nothing wrong with adding GMO to that list. That is why we have deliberately decided to allow GMOs into this country. And the second thing is, until we are satisfied that we have enough maize in this country, our staple food, tomorrow I'm signing a gazette notice to allow for importation of up to 10 million bags of maize.
Do you think this person got some money? Oh, yes, he got some money. Black people don't speak of things for nothing. Not the black people of Africa. For a black person to endorse your thing and talk about it, you gave him something. Anyway, let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. God bless.